agus fàilte go trí seascaid den program ag BBC ALBA a had taispeanach na Bruidhinnidh ingantach an in spórs na Halba. Is me Iona Ballantyne agus ha mi táilte fàilte chuúr skipper Hibernian Joelle Murray gan stiùidio in teachdain-sa. Ar program na héiche nach, brúni mi hínas Joelle ar na naidheachdan móra as an SWPL a hyn. A cluicheadair Dundee United Megan Burns a géisi múna dochas in na hacha glúsid suas ar an t-seachdain-sa. Agus ha trí seascaid a genú ar an raon-deighe gus cluicheadair skip in the Solways Sharks and in Dùn Phrìs. Joelle, welcome back to 360.
Thank you.
It's great to have you back on a very big week in SWPL 1. There's been quite big news. We will come to that shortly. But if you can actually just give us an update on Hibs, how everything's going, how you feel things have been going in the league, what you're kind of needing to work on.
Yeah, it's been I feel like I say this every time I'm on, it's been a very transitional season. We're just on the back of a good result against Geamaichean, which has allowed us to progress in the Scottish Cup. However, prior to that in the league, we had a disappointing result up in Aberdeen, so that tells the tale of the season so far. We go from a low to a high, or a high to a low in quick succession. So yeah, it's been a transitional season, but a season that we're still very much focused on. We're in the Scottish Cup still, of course, and we'll do our best to finish as high up in the league as possible.
If we do even just look at the Geamaichean one, I know obviously there's a big difference between the two sides, but even just having the opportunity for these players to play for Hibs and to come on and score. I know Jenna Penman, she had her first start for Hibs, so actually how's she settling in and experiencing that?
Jenna settled in very, very well. She's a young player, but she's a very mature player. She's very articulate in everything that she does, and it was nice to see her get her start and get minutes on the pitch on Sunday there. And yeah, I think overall, albeit the scoreline, I think there was a lot of positives to take from the game. Jenna getting minutes, players finding their first goal. Tony scored her first competitive goal for the club, and just kind of getting an overall boost and confidence from that result going into the first game after the break.
And you will in the cup face Partick Thistle next, a team that I know you would kind of hope to get past, but actually the last time the two of you faced each other in the league, they came away with a 3-2 victory. So actually, in terms of like approaching this game, I know it'll be very different this time round, knowing that actually this is really crucial to get to that next step in the cup.
Yeah, of course. We're in the Scottish Cup, and we of course want to win it, but we need to kind of give Partick Thistle the credit that they deserve, as you alluded to there. The last time we faced them, we came away with a defeat, and I don't think their league position does them any credit, because I think they're better than that. They recently ran City very, very close. I think Glasgow City needed a late goal to come away with the points on the day, so we know that game will be tough, and that's certainly the focus ahead of that game that week.
And even Aberdeen, like you were saying there, in terms of that defeat, another team who did come up from SWPL 2, do you think you're really starting to see a difference in these sides who have taken a step up and actually seen the improvement that's happened over even the course of the season? Yeah,
of course. And I mean, the game up in Aberdeen, we knew that was going to be a tough game, because it's a team who are littered with a lot of young but very, very good players, a lot of young players who are in the youth national squad, so we knew that was always going to be a tough game. But I think that just shows the competitiveness within the league now, and that, albeit it was a hard loss to take, it's great to see that each team can and has the potential to beat each other. We're speaking about Aberdeen and Partick Thistle, but equally so Hearts are on the rise, on and off the pitch. They're striving for success, and yeah, I think that can only be a good thing for the league in general.
You do have a kind of solid fourth spot at the moment. Even just in terms of the league, I know that's not where you want to be, so for next season, is that something that you are looking to kind of push for, that third spot?
Yeah, of course. I think last season was the first season that we finished outside the top two. This season we will have to work hard. We'll have to maybe go on an unbeaten run from now until the end of the season and look for results favouring us elsewhere to get in that top 3. But yeah, we want to be in that top 3 and certainly in the top 2 and get back to the success that we've achieved in previous years.
Well, I know you were mentioning transitional season. It more than likely will be another transitional season next season, with the news this week that SWPL will be moving under the SPFL banner. That is a huge move for Scottish women's football and or actually just the league in general. What are you expecting from this change?
I think for me, from an initial kind of reaction, it's a positive one. The SWF have worked tirelessly and been fantastic up until this point, but the transition to under the SPFL banner is, for me, a natural one. I think from a sporting and a commercial perspective, it will add so much value and be so beneficial, and yeah, I'm excited to see how it goes and what we can strive and achieve under their guidance.
As someone who's been involved in the game for so long, even just hearing the initial news and knowing it's kind of been brewing for quite a while, what do you think are the pros and cons to this?
I think, again, like I said, they're the sporting and commercial values that we can achieve under their guidance. In terms of cons, I can't really think of any at the moment, other than the fact that they are a massive governing body. So I wouldn't like to think that we kind of fall at the bottom of a priority list. I'd like to see resources given to us, the same as the men are afforded. So for me at the moment, there's certainly no cons, and logistically it'll be interesting to see how it plays out.
Brilliant, Joelle, thank you. Ha Dundee United a dul go maith ag múlach in SWPL ja, agus ha Megan Burns ahead of you cluicheadair club fàilte Bruidhinnidh and dochas go seann season the h-amasan go SWPL a hun.
As je wie big an callja van a Geamaichean Oilimpigeach dríoch ball cosha ag Megan Burns, call of the for Farmington.
I was only really the sporty one out of all my family. Like, my dad likes football, but my mum was more into she was more into horse riding and stuff, but I never went down that route. I went down the more tomboy route, kicking a ball in the park when I was younger. I never started playing for a team till I was in, I think it was first year. So I just started playing football with my friends and where I stayed, in the local football pitch, and then just nagged at my dad every night to play football in the garden with me until I went up to secondary school, and some of my pals were like, oh, you should come along and join Forfar, which I did, and then so on from there.
Hannig Megan is earth gomor, nu de wij klicht de skippen aan zijn SWPL. Eulus a chort die glan.
It was great. I was there for about 6 or 7 years. I was just getting used to playing in a team. I wasn't obviously I never went to regionals or anything like that, so I was still learning. I just knew the basics of how to kick a ball and stay on my feet, although I wasn't very good at that. I kind of got brought into the Prem team quite young. There was a few of us. I think we got called up from under 17s. So yeah, that was a massive jump for us, but it was a great experience playing alongside top players and playing against top players. So yeah, it was a great experience.
As je wigi kleinjen grodjiachang en cluiche a dol ag an cluba a vaya kumal taichdish, ga Megan go Dundee United agus havet ith na blinichen, ha I dechkin chicho fap, sa han skipper ith china the earth.
I seen that they were trialling, and me being a Dundee United fan, I was got in touch with Gav and then got invited along for a trial, and then yeah, just started from there. It's developing all the time. It's just bringing in more players, more experience. Coaches have left, coaches have come. It's just getting more involved with the men's team. The community trust have been putting a bit more into it, and yeah, just trying to get us up to the top league. That's been the main goal, and it's just been progressing as the years have gone on. So we were set up and we wanted to be a top flight team. So yeah, it'll be great. It'll be a great opportunity. Be playing alongside professional teams now, so yeah.
Hai a córta dí Megan gomór a bhí a cluicheadair a sewi a pandemic, agus chanil an cluba is game a chawl sa lígar a seo. Gejer a hain dochas galension son an raon-deighe.
Oh, it's great. It's back to normal now. Like before, it was a bit uncertain. Like you were waiting to hear whether you can go back and train, and then even when you were allowed to go back to train, it was like small numbers because girls weren't allowed to travel. So we were training like 4 girls at a time, which isn't ideal. And then obviously, like it broke out again. It's like, is football going to stop? Is it like? But thankfully, it's been able to keep going this time, and hopefully that's the end of it. Fingers crossed. It's been challenging because like we're a new team. Like, well, we've got new players in, and it's been difficult to be able to like do your usual team bonding and stuff like to gel. But we've just been working hard at training and doing the best that we can, and yeah, seems to be paying off. Anyway, yeah, our league's tough. Like, there's Boroughmuir, Glasgow Women. You never know what the results are going to be. So to come out and win, touch wood, all of our games so far, it's been a great achievement. And yeah, we are proud. A lot of hard work, but yeah, we're all proud, and hopefully it continues.
Va Megan dói nu de chai enimachig skipper a club. Leis an skipper fasgid a ctí, hai giri an club a stiachig on sa fliab league.
Well, it's a great achievement. First, it was a great achievement being able to pull on the Dundee United top, never mind wear the armband as well. So yeah, it's been a dream, should I say. Hopefully just remain in the top flight, being a top flight club, and hopefully progress onto, I don't know, maybe further down the line, Champions League, but that'll be a long time away. But just hopefully get into the top league and stay there for a few seasons and hold our own, just show that we're a good enough team to be up there. That's the goal anyway. Well, it means a lot. Like, I'm passionate about it. I've always been passionate about Dundee United, and yeah, like I just love the girls and my team, my club, like the coaches. And yeah, it is a dream being able to be captain for Dundee United, and to say that I am, and yeah, and make my family proud as well. That's another good thing.
Joelle, you know the pride of playing for the team you support. You can imagine that Megan just absolutely loves that.
Yeah, I was actually thinking that watching the VT there, and I can absolutely relate to that. Playing for and captaining the club that you've kind of grew up supporting. So yeah, I'm immense proud and can fully relate to everything that Megan said there.
You can just see how committed she is to Dundee United, and with so many goals for the team. Do you think it's a team that would do well in the top flight?
I think so. I think from a kind of external perspective, looking in, it seems to be a very progressive club on and off the pitch. And we actually played them early on in the season, I think, in the League Cup, and they've got some really, really good players. Dundee United seem to be the team that draws a good and high calibre player. You saw players coming from Aberdeen, St Johnstone, players that used to play for Forfar, all being drawn to Dundee United, so they must be doing something right, and the results speak for themselves.
I was just going to touch on Forfar actually, because you saw them there and actually how big a part they played in Megan's footballing journey so far, and for so many other players in Scotland. Such a great developmental side, and obviously they had so long in the top flight. It is just sad knowing that they're not there anymore.
It certainly is. I think Forfar were always a team that were hard to beat, especially up there at their home pitch. And like you said, there's been so many players that have come through the ranks at Forfar. Rachel Boyle, who used to play there, Julia Ralph, obviously Megan. So there are a number of players who've come through and developed at the club, and it's such a shame to see how dramatically they fell in recent seasons.
It was quite interesting hearing what Megan was saying. I know you can probably relate to it in terms of the squad gelling and just kind of getting things right on the pitch. We've spoken about transitional seasons at Hibs. We know it has been hard, so many players coming and going. Do you feel like you're at a place now where things are coming together? You can understand what Megan was saying about that?
Yeah, of course. I think for us, we had a new kind of management, new staff group, players leaving, players coming, but I think we're now in a position whereby we're all on the same page. We're a very cohesive group on and off the pitch, and hopefully that will kind of show in the results kind of from now, especially until the end of the season.
Looking back at the top flight, does it feel like there's a bit of a swing now? Rangers, they are in that pole position there. They've got a 2-point lead, they've got a game in hand. Do you think this is going to be the season where things will change and actually Glasgow City might not be champions?
It's hard for me to say. I think
there's still so long to go. Anything can happen.
There is, yeah. There's still so many games to go, and like we've said, it shows that everyone can beat anyone in the league. It certainly is in Rangers' hands. It's probably theirs to lose, given the fact that they are 2 points ahead with a game in hand. But there's so long to go, and like I said, there's the opportunity for teams to beat each other. We kind of ran Rangers pretty close in our recent game against them. We were unlucky not to take something from that game. So yeah, there's too much time to go, too many games to be played, but it certainly is in Rangers' hands, and at this point it is theirs to lose. And
Glasgow City is actually the team that Hibs face next in the league. How will you approach that one now?
Again, like we always do, we go into that game confident, confidence in our ability. I think we were disappointed with the way we performed and the goals that we lost against them the last time we played. I think that game ended 3-0. So for me, we want the win, but we also want to give a better account of ourselves than we did in that last game, because we were bitterly disappointed and we knew that standards were well below that we know we can achieve.
Elsewhere around the league, even if we just look at the bottom of the table with Hamilton, how do you pick yourself up every week going into these games without a win? That must be really hard.
Yeah, I can imagine it is. I feel for Hamilton, because you can see the players look a bit deflated week in, week out. But for me, I think it'll just take that one win, that draw, that point, that kind of glimmer of hope, and hopefully they can kick on from there, because they've got a fantastic setup. They've got a great coaching group, Gary Doctor, who's of course been there for a number of years, Bobby Watson, who assists. So yeah, I'd like to see them get the win or the draws or the points on the board that they deserve, because I can't imagine it is enjoyable week in, week out, kind of coming on the back of a defeat.
Another team in the middle of the table who actually does seem to have a great coaching team is Motherwell, who have totally turned around from last season and are almost flying this season.
Yeah, and I think the thing that's pivotal to that is Paul Brownlee and Leanne Crichton, who I know very, very well, and I think they've done a fantastic job there. They recently announced the implementation of their academy, which of course will hopefully bear the fruits in years to come for first team, but I think they've done extremely well. They've turned that team around dramatically from last season to this, and I can only see their progression going one way.
Great, well thank you. Loads happening in the league, loads to keep on top of, but we will have it all here. Thanks. An talmanis son Bruidhinnidh at realite. Three siascaid ar a bhí ana Dùn Phrìs gus cynniachach rúna Solway Sharks. Chain skip a hockey j isteachach for chain nei blena, si at an skip an ALBA ha farpish ac an league na ban.
Le Bruidhinnidh a Ballantyne spores ha skip a hockey j and the Solway Sharks a chiad skip a ALBA a bhíos a cluich and the league na ban.
So there was World Championships here, Women's World Championships, and we kind of decided leading up to that there was such an interest for everybody to come to watch it, and there wasn't a women's team here. And as there's a few of us that was already playing recce, we kind of, like I said, we had a conversation, spoke to Kev, who's the coach. And we managed to get together and we kind of spoke about it. We spoke to the ice bowl to see if there was available ice, and then we kind of offered it up as development sessions. So we did that for nearly a year. So the only way we could actually do it was to apply to join the English League. So we went and applied to them, and I got invited to the AGM. And at that point we had to do a wee presentation to say why we'd want to be included in the English League. Lucky enough, everybody voted for us, not against us. So so we were the first Scottish women's team to join the league.
Bhain skipper taringa do cluicheadair in a bhar sonna bhí a cluich go farpaseach, ach cuideach do neamhaing a bheith a géirí páirse gáil sonna chiad Phrìs.
I played for a team up in Hamilton, and Mo played for a team here in Dùn Phrìs, and there was a tournament we used to go to in Hull every year, and she had suggested that they were starting a new team here and if I wanted to try and come and play. It was unusual to have a team just comprised of women, and obviously being able to play in a league wasn't something that was available at the time, so that was really attractive, to be able to play in competitive hockey against teams that we'd never played before.
I first started playing ice hockey, it was back in 2019, so I was what you would call really a late entrant to the sport. I saw that the Solway ladies team were advertising come and try sessions, and it was for people of any age and any ability, so that really suited me as somebody who had never played ice hockey before, wasn't really a skater either, but I went along to the sessions and had a great time. You know, knowing that the team are the only sort of competitive team in Scotland that play in the league, and to have that on our doorstep and to have this facility at the Ice Bowl on our doorstep, it felt like a really great opportunity to be able to come along and to learn. I started off by going to the development sessions after the come and try sessions, and I did that for about 4 months, and after that one day the coach Kevin and Mo said to me, do you want to come along and try out with the Solway ladies training? And it just felt like a really great opportunity to be able to learn from really experienced and talented players, and you know, it was a bit nerve-wracking at the same time, but it was just such a great thing to feel that I was part of.
Tá cluba a géirí cluicheadair in a horse tráide, agus háit a paint thar haich bhil coirsteach hockey déa.
It's brilliant, you know, they're a really welcoming bunch to train beside. They offer lots of support. They've been really patient with me and the other new players, which is great. But like I was saying, they've got so much experience and so much talent that, you know, when we come along to the training sessions, you really feel like you get a lot out of them. And it's just been a really sort of fun, safe, inclusive environment to come along and to learn and have fun. And, you know, that's what sport's all about. And so it's been great fun.
I think within the Ice Bowl it's been absolutely brilliant. Everybody's supported us. We've got some of our own juniors, girls, have came through the ranks and then they play for us as well. Like I said, our coach Kev has been here since day one with us, and he's known a few of us as recce players as well. So, but it's just everybody's kind of supported us all the way through this. And then even a couple of years ago, it was even when we made our first playoffs. And it was just seeing that support on Facebook and social media and all that, everybody cheering us on, wish us luck kind of thing.
The community is really strong in Scotland, and they're just like family. It doesn't matter what team, whether you play against them or play with them, everybody's just really brilliant within the community. Oh, it's great to be able to know that you can just rely on people. We're all here for the same reason, which is, and we've all got hockey in common, and anybody who starts playing it usually becomes really passionate about it, so we've all really got that in common.
Le bua I pandemic, chorá cumasach an skippe a cluicheadair-sa son charaid bliana. Leis na rialte na lacachach a na cluicheadair an chud tollaigte a bhíad as a cluich.
Well, because it's like an inside contact sport, there was 14 months there we weren't allowed to train. And then again after Christmas it was kind of limited as what we could actually do. So we never stepped on the ice for 14 months, and then we never actually played any games. I think it was 19 months in total. So getting back on the ice this season, it was kind of like first time back on the ice in so long. So it's nice to get back. And I think we're just lucky to get any games at the moment. We missed out on the game at the start of January there due to obviously restrictions, so we have had to postpone that. So I think that's now in April or something, like March or April.
It was really difficult for those that travel because we were in like tier 3 at the time and Dùn Phrìs was in like tier 1, so they were able to train together and meet up together, whereas we weren't even allowed to travel down into Dùn Phrìs. We kind of kept it going like online, like everybody did, with like Zoom meetings and quizzes, etc. We broke up into small groups and we had like fitness competitions against each other for like every week. So things like that, just to keep us kind of in contact with each other.
It's been such a good opportunity to meet new people. You know, I've met a lot of new people through the team, and it's nice just to have, for me it was a new form of exercise, and like you were saying, it's the opportunity to just socialise with different people, and it just feels nice to have things sort of moving again.
Sian príomh amas an lí go bhainne, agus an na Solway Sharks a géirí na cluicheadair an ága a léiseachar, son na blianach in the hearing.
Well, you obviously always want to win the league, but yeah, just to play as well as we can and achieve as many wins as we can, but obviously we would look to get promoted.
Just to, you know, to keep playing well, to keep improving, to keep scoring goals, and I think, you know, ultimately, you know, the bigger goals maybe to work towards the Premiership, but that's, you know, in the future.
For ladies, obviously our goal would be for us to gain the promotion to Premier, backfill it with another Div 1 team, and to then bring in our under-16s. As high as you can go in women's hockey is a elite level, so that's a level above Prem, but also to bring some of our girls through and bring them into like the Scotland setup and the England setup, and then through to GB level as well. So I think that's what everybody's aim is as a hockey player. I think it absolutely means everything to me. I remember when we won my first game, I think I was the only person in the changing room crying, everybody else was celebrating, but I think I just that much pride and proud of the team is how far we've actually came.
Joelle, I've been watching the speed skating, the figure skating this week at the Winter Olympics, but then you watch that, you add in a puck and a stick, and I actually don't know how they do it. It's so impressive to see.
It is extremely impressive, and just seeing Lauren there, hearing how she only took up the sport in 2019 and seeing how well she's doing now, that's extremely impressive to kind of take up a new sport and learn new skills and be good in such a short space of time.
And it does just show again that sport is inclusive for everyone. There is a sport for anyone out there. And ice hockey is maybe one that you wouldn't have actually thought, but then you see that and actually see Lauren go and enjoy it so much. And now it's a team that are actually doing really well in their league.
Yeah, it's great to hear, and it's great to see that there is a massive appetite for it. And I think Mo touched upon the fact that all ages and all abilities are welcome, so it's great that there is that pathway there towards their first team in the league that they're competing in.
Is ice skating and ice hockey something you could be open to take up?
Probably not. I've been to the Christmas markets, the ice rinks at the Christmas markets, and yes, I cannot skate, so I'll...
we won't see you at the Solway Sharks.
I'll prefer watching it opposed to taking it up.
But even just so impressive how they thought, right, do you know what, we want to play in the league, let's go and get in there. They're in the league, they're in the North Division, and actually they're sitting top of the league as it stands as we film this at the moment, which is great to see.
Yeah, it is. They've obviously had aims and goals and ambitions, and they're living that, they're fulfilling that, and to see them sitting at the top of that league is absolutely fantastic.
And even, I mean, you know the difficulty, what it was like during COVID when you couldn't train and actually come together and be together as a team. For the Solway Sharks, that was 14 months not on the ice. It's not like you could just go to a running track and run or to a pitch and play. You actually could not get on the ice. That must have been so difficult. You know yourself what it was like, just even get that momentum back.
Yeah, of course, and I think for us as footballers, we did have the opportunity to go down the park and kick a ball about, which of course isn't the same and doesn't replicate that team environment, but like you said, they didn't even have that opportunity, so it probably took the players a little bit of time to kind of reintroduce themselves to the ice in that environment.
And we've spoken about gelling as a team, but obviously for them it has worked. They're together, they're enjoying it, they're playing, and you can see it, and you do think actually this hopefully is a team for young people wanting to get into the sport that are just paving that way again.
Yeah, it sounds like they're pioneers for the sport, especially here in Scotland, and certainly role models for a lot of young boys and girls who want to get into ice hockey.
It's almost surprising that there aren't more teams in Scotland for even a Scottish league, or more Scottish teams taking part in the league down south.
Yeah, I was surprised that they had to apply to an English league. Hopefully on the back of this and the Winter Olympics, that will be a springboard and kind of boost engagement and awareness of that sport, and hopefully raise participation.
Because you know how important it is to capitalise on these big events like the Winter Olympics. We had it with football, with the World Cup and the Euros, and actually the change that comes from that afterwards.
Yeah, of course, and those are the opportunities that you like you said, Iona, need to capitalise on, because you have that engagement for the major finals, the major tournaments, so the need and the desire to capitalise on that at that point is a necessity.
Well, talking about tournaments, we do have Scotland back in action at the Pinnater Cup this week. How good is it even just to see the team back? Although no Rachel Corsie, but a few debuts for some of the team too, actually. How good even for your Hibs players just to get that opportunity and to play with the team like Leah Eddy is so crucial coming back. I mean, you were involved in Scotland for so long, so you know just how important it is.
Yeah, I was delighted for Leah. She wasn't involved in the initial squad, which I was disappointed to see, but delighted that she got the call up, and I'm sure she'll grasp that opportunity with both hands.
And important for Scotland just to get back together, regroup, and then use this time so wisely for their World Cup qualifiers coming up.
Yeah, it's always important for the group to utilise these friendly tournaments and time spent together, because we do have a massive double-header coming up in April, so I'm sure we'll see a mix of kind of new formations, maybe new tactics, and kind of just bedding in players and giving players minutes on the pitch with that double-header in mind.
All right, but a very exciting time, but that is all for this week. So we will be keeping an eye on what's happening with Scotland at the Pinnater Cup. But thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Well, sin air san anoch, and a chiach bhí Emma black collar rooms in studio. Jan cínseach go bhfuil sibh lent an BBC ALBA ar YouTube san na thula fiseacha cluicheangailte rí trí seascad againn. Agus céiniche go bhfuil bailcóise beo ar BBC ALBA ar an deireadh cheachcain lí ALBA cluich an na cúpa Pinnater de Sathirne agus páirteach thistle cluich Spartans an san SWPL de Dùn Phrìs. Hí sin sibh an aithris.